Good evening everyone and welcome back to Fordyce's BMW M3 E30 League here with NXTGEN Racing. I'm Jack TM53, as always your commentator on this brilliant series, and we're here for race number 2, round 8 of the championship. Now of course race 2, medium tyres and a full blown reverse grid for the competitors to deal with. So on the front row we've got NXTGEN Danzo, who will start on the front row. Just do a quick pause there. We'll have NXTGEN and Danzo on pole position for the reverse grid. Tim will start in second. Dominator is third. Suburtus fourth. Joey Dunlop fifth. Traumatic Dave lined up on the third row in sixth. Rally Matt is seventh. Mehanester will line up in eighth position. Bruce Lee Harden is ninth. Four Fish will be 10th. And NXTGEN Les, the race winner, going for the championship title in this race. So let's see if he can pull that off. It'd be a great achievement to do it with 2 rounds. That would be an incredible achievement if he can do that, but we'll soon find out in that respect. But it'll be interesting to see how the drivers will cope in terms of the changes in the medium tyres now, obviously providing a lot more load in the car. And through these faster corners it will be very interesting to see if the drivers can translate that into a little bit more pace. Can we see some battles, overtakes potentially from the drivers putting up a good fight towards the end? Can they do it? We'll soon find out. But we will get things underway then. Lights will be coming on shortly. Let's see how the drivers get on. Joey's jumped the start far too soon, and it's away they go, and it looks like a relatively good start from the drivers behind. Bruce Lee's hit the back of Joey. There's absolutely pandemonium at the back of the drivers. What has happened there? Danzo leads into turn number 1. He's going to have the inside line for turn 2. There's a huge gap back to the cars. Joey Dunlop was the one who jumped the start. Four Fish, Bruce Lee, Les, Traumatic Dave hasn't even got off the line, unfortunately. Some issues for him. So Suburtus leads the way then around the south outer loop. What a chance he's got to try and gain some big points as Rally Matt squeezes his way through Tim and Dominator. And Rally Matt gets himself up to 4th now. He's on the inside line as they approach the hairpin. Look how late Tim brakes again going into the hairpin. He's had a bit of contact with Dominator. Should be able to squeeze back through though, should Dominator. He doesn't. He's got the slipstream from Rally Matt in front of him, but Tim got a better launch off the hairpin and he squeezes into 5th place. Four Fish trying to recover, as is Joey, Bruce Lee, Les a little bit further back, and unfortunately Traumatic Dave has disconnected, so he is out of the race. Burtis then has a lovely little advantage to start proceedings off with, but he will be chased by Mehanester and Danzo. Mehanester on the inside as they come towards the toll bridge. On the right hand side of your screens, Danzo's going to be on the outside. He won't be able to stick that round the outside. Tries to look for a switchback. He's going to be on the inside as they approach the chicane. Good opportunity for Danzo. Can he brake later? He does indeed, and he squeezes through, but he's hit the wall. He hits the wall once again at the chicane, as does Tim, who also goes around, and Tim and Dominator went off as well. So 3 cars in that chicane, proving how tricky it is. And Dominator and Tim will have to lock horns again for a fight over 9th place. But Burtis leads for the first time this season. That purple and black liveried car, the number 23, or rather the number 22 we should say, leads through turn 2. Mehanester and Rally Matt, they know that this is a glorious golden opportunity for them to try and take advantage of the chaos and carnage that's behind them. Bruce Lee just saying hello in the chat there. But Mehanester in second, Rally Matt third. There's Joey Dunlop, followed by Four Fish and Les, who's got his way through now. Les, despite being compromised at the opening start, as Four Fish dives up the inside of Joey Dunlop, and Les looking to try and make his way through as well. Can he squeeze an opening? You can see how close they are to the stained walls on the right hand side of the Expressway. He can't make it through. We're on the roof camera with Les at the present moment. Joey, will he try and look to make a lunge somewhere? Maybe try and squeeze to the outside, maybe look to the inside. Les is trying alternative lines. For that matter, Bertus still leads the way, but that's the door opening that Les wanted. He's looking for it now. Dunlop's going to be on the outside. He's going to try and break later. He's trying to go free wide. They make a little bit of contact. Somehow they keep it together. I'm not sure how. Joey, though, doesn't take advantage of it. And Fordyce and Les evidently working together once again. Get themselves up to 4th and 5th as Les runs the wall close out of the exit. Bruce Lee's hit the wall as well, actually. He was just catching that group. So Danzo gets past him. Dominator and Tim getting ready to lock horns again. But this is impressive from Bertus. He's leading out in front all by himself. Gap is closing now between him, Rally Matt and Mehanester, but they do have the advantage of slipstreaming one another as they both try and hit the wall at the same time, and Mehanester hits Rally Matt. That's going to compromise the two. Ever the invitation needed for Fordyce and Les to get right into the fight for a potential race win, that's enabled them. Rally Matt's closed the gap onto Subertus, and Mehanester's not too far away. Fordyce is going to look for a move, no doubt, into the hairpin. Oh, Mehanester, how deep was that? He's gone so deep at the corner. He's going to get a great exit, though. You'd expect him to try and squeeze through, but he's not going to be able to. Les just covering the door. So Les gets a little bit of a push forward. And Les, look how tight to the inside he's keeping to make sure that Fordyce slipstreams through with him. Those two evidently working together, but now Les covers that line. He's obviously concerned. Well, I was about to say he's concerned about leading up to the Tollbridge right-hander, but that's not going to happen. Les now covers that inside line. Fordyce is going to have to try and go around the outside. Where does Mehanester go in all of this? He doesn't go anywhere. He just stays behind the two in front of him. Speaking of the two in front of them, Rally Matt on the inside of Subertus coming into the chicane. Are they going to give leeway to one another? They do, and Rally Matt a little bit sideways on exit. Bertus very sideways. He gets hit by Les, who gives him a little push forward. Bertus is picking up a penalty as a result of his cut of the chicane. But Matt takes the lead, and if there's ever a time he needs to try and break away from these three, it is now. He knows he's quicker than Subertus, but he's going to have a tough time trying to get away from Les and Fordyce. Les looking to move at the inside of turn 2. Fordyce sees an opening thanks to Les going sideways. They're going to be side by side through the S's. Still keeping it nice and clean, these two. Brilliant driving, but Les keeps his position. Mehanester now involved in that. Joey's gone backwards. Bruce Lee's got a lot of work to do if he wants to get up to 6th at least. But these cars now 4 in a line. Oh, and Fordyce is looking for a move. He's trying to go past the pair of him. He's hit Bertus sideways, and he takes Bertus out of the equation for 2nd. And Fordyce drops to 5th. A move for 2nd might have just cost him his slipstream that he desperately needed. So Bertus loses a position. Les gains 2 in that move by virtue of not hitting anyone. Fastest lap so far going the way of Les. Mehanester looking for a move past the Dutch driver. Tim and Dominator still circulating in 9th and 10th. They're not too far away from one another, but we're concentrating on these 3 drivers. Bertus taking a different route through the right-hander. It's not worked out for him, and Mehanester doesn't take advantage. And they don't want to lose the slipstream of Les, but I fear that's what's going to happen. He's hit the wall as Bertus, and Mehanester will need no second invitations to go up the inside, and Bertus hits the wall again, and Fordyce is going to take the position. So from leading the race 1 lap ago, Bertus has dropped to 5th. That's how quickly it can change. And if he's not careful, Joey Dunlop will be next after him in his pursuit. Bruce Lee's up to 7th. He's got Danzo shadowing him. There's Tim, who's in front of Dominator. So their fight continuing on. Rally Matt leads. He didn't quite get the gap he would have wanted, especially with Les trying to bear down on him, and Les setting another fastest lap. And he's got another purple sector, so he's certainly improving. Is Les. Oh, how late does he want to brake for the corner? Just about keeps it out of the barrier. Rally Matt wise to it. I think Les just outbraked himself going into the hairpin. Fortunately, it hasn't really cost him much momentum. You know, drivers can run very deep into the hairpin and still get an opportunity with the slipstream fighting out of the corner. You can see Les is closing that gap. He's really following the wheel tracks of that white and turquoise liveried M3 in front of him. Still setting another purple sector is Les. You can see how powerful that slipstream is around the Expressway. But Les at present, he'll want a race win to cap off his championship if he can. He's going to try and look at the inside. He dives later, right at the chicane, as concise as he needed to be. And Les moves into the lead, and at present is securing his championship title with 2 rounds to go. But there's still 11 minutes left of this race. Still a lot of fraught manoeuvres to be had. Mehanesta finds himself side by side with Fordyce as they approach turn 2. On the brakes they go. Mehanesta looking for a podium. Keeps the line nice and neat. Fordyce will be lamenting the mistake he made earlier, because he would be in that fight at the front with Les and Rally Matt. Well, Mehanesta holds on for the time being. Bertis hits the wall in 5th, and Joey's caught him, and Bruce Lee has, for that matter. Those two being gained upon quite quickly by Bruce Lee. The Nuka-Cola driver senses a couple of more points on the horizon. Danzo's in 8th. Tim still leading the battle between himself and Dominator as they go into the hairpin for the 6th time of asking as they approach that, past now that halfway mark. Well, Les still leading the way. He's being pursued and harried by Rally Matt. Purple sector for Rally Matt. The slipstream aiding that one. Look at the side-by-side between Fordyce and Mehanesta. On the brakes at the toll bridge, right-hander. Goes Fordyce. Look, try and get a switch back though is Mehanesta. Will stay on the external camera as they approach the chicane. On the brakes they go, but Fordyce crowd him out. Got a much better exit as well, did Fordyce. Oh, Bruce Lee really mounting the curve. Look at the amount of slipstream and time he's gained from that. Almost took advantage of the pair in front of him taking a slow route through it. Joey's looking to try and make a move on the inside. Now we'll stay with Bruce Lee. Which way will he take? Moves to the outside line, then positions himself in the middle and just throttles back a little bit. He's waiting for the chaos to unfold. Into turn 2, Bertis runs wide. He's hit the wall. There's one position for Bruce. Can he now get the other one? Joey Dunlop's line will be compromised. You see Bruce taking a tighter line, takes an even tighter line at the end of the S's. Looking to try and maybe have a little lunge into the hairpin. It's right in the wheel tracks. He's trying to go one way, then he goes the other. He looks to the outside line. On the brakes now, down into the hairpin. He goes round the outside. If he pulls this off, it would be a wonderful overtake. It looks like he has indeed. He's going to let Bertis follow him through as well. And Bruce Lee with a brilliant overtake at the chicane, emphasising how you can use different lines around that corner, moves into 5th place. But he's got a lot of defending to do because Sir Bertis followed his line, sort of, through that corner, but wasn't compromised and looked to the inside. Bruce Lee defends as tight as he can. They make contact between each other. They're in the wall, but they just keep it going in a straight line. Which way does Joey go? He goes to the outside. Bruce Lee goes to the outside. He covers that line off, so there's more contact between the three. On the brakes, down into the toll bridge right-hander. Bruce just holds his position. Contact between Bruce and Bertis. Luckily, they didn't end up facing the wrong way, but that could have gone awfully wrong for the two drivers. How they filtered themselves out, I'm not sure. Unbelievable. 7.5 minutes to go. Bruce Lee, you can see the pace he's got. He's already pulling away from the two now. Speaking of the pair, Mehanesta's been dropped by Fordyce. Rally Matt still fighting as hard as he can to get past Les. There will be no working together between Rally Matt and Les. Rally Matt is under no obligation to give Les an easy time. Les outscoring Fordyce at the moment by 7 points, and if you count with his fastest lap as well. But Les Fought from the back of the grid from 11th. Was even compromised at the start. And still leads the way. That's how brilliant he's been this season. But he's got to deal with Rally Matt. Fordyce is pushing as hard as he can. He's hoping that the two in front will keep fighting. Mechanester's there in 4th. There's Bruce Lee. Joey Dunlop has just about pulled away from Fordyce. Danzo's in 8th, but the 3 have come together for the fight for 8th. Danzo almost going to the pit lane at the hairpin, and Dominator, Tim sideways as well as they go around the hairpin. We're back to the fighting duo and Danzo again. They're certainly not going to give any quarter in their fight. Coincidentally, Tim setting a slower lap time than what he did on the Racing Hard tyres in race 1, which is rather peculiar in itself. But these 3 quite some way away from the fight for the race lead and 4th position and 5th as well. See if Dominator looks to a move at the outside at the toll bridge. He's going to try and hold it around the outside, but he's just ran into the wall. A little bit of momentum actually for Dominator from the wall itself. I wouldn't recommend wall riding in real life, of course. Oh, Danzo clamps the curb. He's going to hit the wall surely, which he does indeed, and Tim follows him through. So Danzo makes another mistake and loses 2 positions again, and Tim's going to go for another overtake. Can he take 8th place? He's going to have the run towards turns 1 and 2. He's got the inside line for the time being, that sort of off silver colour. He's got 8th place. Tim's best result this season, 10th. He'd be over the moon if he could finish 8th, as they both synchronise themselves into the wall. But Tim up in 8th place at the moment. Mehanester has been overtaken by Bruce Lee Harding now. So Bruce Lee probably wouldn't have expected to have been in 4th place, but there he is. Mehanester's made a mistake, and I'm assuming he's done it at the chicane again. That's where he's lost all that time. It's unfortunate for him. But he's got a lot of work to do. Bruce Lee certainly won't give up 4th place without a good battle. A 44.4 as well for Bruce that last lap. Fordyce now has the fastest lap points. He's gained a bit more time and joined the fight for the lead. So there's a trio at the front and a trio at the back, but they're all fighting for different complications. Les is going for the championship. Rally Matt wants the race win, and Fordyce, well, he wants to fight as hard as he can and try and take a race victory. He's done exceptionally well though to catch up to the back of these two. He didn't have the slipstream, but those 2 in front have not been able to keep their racing neat and tidy. Oh, Les just hits the wall, as does Fordyce. Rally Matt almost followed that too. So these 3 will have just under 3.5 minutes, or rather just over 3.5 minutes, to try and duke it out for the race win. But Fordyce has got a really good momentum out of the final part of the S-section. He's going to have the slipstream from Les. On the brakes now, down into the hairpin. We've seen from Bruce Lee that you can go round the outside here. Rally Matt keeps the car nice and tight though, and shuts the door off for Fordyce. But Fordyce will have the slipstream. But if Rally Matt is wise, he will follow as much of the slipstream as he can from Les. He'll know that Fordyce and Les work together during this race so far. But can he hold on for 2nd place? A little bit of a tap for Rally Matt will give him a bit more boost. Oh, as close as you like to the wall. Rally Matt with a little bit of lag. They touch as they go through the partial right-hander. Will Fordyce now brake a little bit later? He can't. Rally Matt brakes as late as he dares. Fordyce with so many throttle up again, he just couldn't stop it on the brakes. And Fordyce to try and duke it underneath Rally Matt, who hit the wall. Oh, Rally Matt taking as much curb as he likes as Fordyce ran it very close to the wall. As did Bruce Lee, Mehanester, Joey Dunlop sideways. What a fantastic piece of car control that was. As sideways as you like. Joey Dunlop, he's in the country to be the DK, and at the moment that is certainly up there for the award. Tim's leading that fight for 8th place, a 46.6. a bit sideways himself. Dominator, nice run through there, really nice and tight, as was Danzo. I have a feeling that these three are not quite finished. But speaking of three cars together, at the moment, they've separated themselves out. Rally Matt's lost the slipstream from Les. He was 7/10 quicker that last lap was Les compared to Rally Matt. Obviously those two were duking it out for the race honours of runner-up. It was Rally Matt and Fordyce. But I think Les has broken that slipstream. I think there's just enough now for Les to try and crack his heels and drive off into the sunset towards his championship, which would be thoroughly deserved. Fordyce, well, he's still got a good opportunity a second, but his championship is fading away, his championship hopes. Bruce Lee's in fourth. He's been driving very well this race actually for Bruce. It was a shame he was compromised early on, but he's done a great recovery up to fourth. There's Mehanester, there's Joey emerging into the basking glow of the Shibuya Expressway. For those that don't know, obviously Tokyo uses a number of motorways, including Shibuya, which is what this is based on. Obviously that takes off to Yokohama to the left hand side, but the drivers aren't going that way. Will these drivers have one more lap? This is going to be very close actually between Tim, Dominator and Danzo. 15 seconds, you can see on the right hand side. Will these three, as Tim runs to the wall, will he get another lap in? Danzo definitely won't as he goes two wheels over the curb. But is Tim about to secure his best ever result in the BMW M3 E30 League? Looks like he's going to, and he does. Well done to Tim. He gets 8th place, Dominator 9th, Danzo 10th, really good showing for Tim. Les still leads, he's got enough of a gap as Rally Matt hits the wall. Doesn't look like anyone else is going to make any further impressions unless there's a mistake now. Shame for Bruce Lee, he's been lapping exceptionally well in this race. 44s in the last 4 laps without having had any slipstream. But we have to come to this driver, we have to come to Les, because he has been outstanding all season long. More victories than anyone else, more fastest laps, more pole positions. He has been superb, and his racecraft has been absolutely second to none this season. That red and black car rounds it through the toll bridge on a right-hander, through the chicane, over the curb. He's not just going to win this race, is Les. He's also going to take the championship. So round the final corner he comes. The Spam Batman is going to take another championship on a Monday, 2 in a row for him. It's Next Gen Les who wins the Fordyce's BMW M3 E30 League. Great result for him. Fabulous effort all season long. Rally Matt is second in the race. Fordyce is third. Bruce Lee a brilliant fourth. Mehanester, can he clear his penalty before the line? He can't, but Joey doesn't take advantage in 5th and 6th respectively, and Bertis comes home in 7th. Well, that ended up being a much more frenetic race than drivers would have expected. For those that had their moments of battling and joy, fortunately they just couldn't quite get there. But the man of the hour, Next Gen Les, who has been unbelievable all season long, absolutely well-deserved champion in the M3s. That doesn't mean the action is completely over though, I have to say. There are still 2 more rounds left in this championship. Next round that I'll be commentating on is Bathurst, which is a brilliant circuit we haven't seen for a number of seasons in the GT Sport calendar at Next Gen, so I'm looking forward to commentating on that race in the coming days. But as always, make sure you tune in to the Next Gen social media channels. You can have a look at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, and the website naturally as well. Also do check out this week on Thursday evening the Renault Megane Trophy. That is a 5-way championship fight with 2 races on the night left to settle it. It's going to be exceptionally good. But in the meantime, thanks very much for watching wherever you might be in the big wide world. Have a good one and see you soon.